I never wanted to start a podcast. Have you ever heard that? Well, this is how it goes. I was revamping my website, and the designer was like, "Yeah, we can add like a podcast feature to your site." And I'm like to myself, like, I don't want that. And this is advice. If somebody's working for you and they're doing something you don't want them to do, don't just tell them, "Hey, don't do that. This is what I want. Don't do that." But I didn't do that. I just didn't say nothing really. He added it to the site, got the bill. It was more than what I expected. I'm like, "What's this?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I added, the podcast feature we talked about." So now I got it on my site with no podcast. So now I got to start a podcast. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, you could have just canceled it, blah, blah." I wasn't even thinking like that. I wasn't thinking like that. Hell, I just thought about that when I thought about the video and what I was going to talk about. But luckily I didn't, because everybody's got something that they look at and they see somebody else doing it and be like, "You know what? I could do that too. I could do that just as good or maybe even better than them." But you never do it. You never do it. You never do it. Well, this was the thing me with podcasts. I would listen to podcasts and be like, "Hey man, I could do that." And I was looking for a podcast that would talk to me, would talk to a father, would talk to men about men's issues and things that are important to men, not just black men, men. But I am a black man, so I'm going to speak from my perspective. But to me, I couldn't find anything like that. So when I thought about what would I talk about, I had some corny ideas in the beginning that weren't really me. And then I just listened to like a Pat Flynn video, and he was like, "Man, you want to start a podcast, it's got to be something that you can talk about endlessly, that you can talk about, and you will never, if you never get paid for it, it doesn't matter. It's about being a father. It's about being a man, manhood, things that are important to being fulfilled, having purpose, hell, being happy." There's a whole lot of men out here that aren't happy. They aren't fulfilled, and they don't have anywhere to go to talk to listen to get that motivation. So that's what this podcast is about. And I called it Raising Karter because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. This is not a gimmick. I'm raising my son. I'm not some rich guy talking about stuff that some other father can't relate to. And I had a son who honestly is probably better in front of the camera than me. And that's what you got to do that's a thing. It's important as a father for you to understand what your son or daughter is good at. So I just put it all together, and that's how we got the podcast. But here's the video right here that sealed the deal for me. When I saw this video that Myron Golden made about YouTube and being successful on YouTube, and what his idea that anybody could do to be successful on YouTube, it made a lot of sense to me, and it made a lot of sense to me, and it made me get more serious about my podcast and about YouTube and just any other platform that I could put my podcast on. And knowing that it's not going to happen overnight, but it can happen.
This is almost so foolproof. Like, I can't imagine it not working for anybody. I can't imagine what I'm about to tell you not working for anybody. Make a decision that you're going to be consistently uploading a video to YouTube at least once a month, better like once a week, but at least once a month, a really good video, that you're going to do that for 10 years regardless of outcome. And if you will stick to your guns, in 10 years, you'll probably have at least 1 million subscribers. But here's the good part. The 10 years is going to go by whether you do it or not. So you might as well do it. How many of y'all tracking? Wave at me if you're tracking. Wave at me. Okay. So here's what we want to do. Here's what we want to do. We want to decide that we're going to do a YouTube video.
You hear what he said? He said, decide you're going to do a YouTube video, a podcast video, whatever type of video you're going to do for 10 years straight. Now, it might not take 10 years. It might take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Or it might take 10 years. He said, but the 10 years are going to go past whether you like it or not. The 10 years are going to go past. So whether you do it or not, the 10 years are going to go past. So why not do it? How many things have you not done that if you would have done over time, you would have got better at, and you would have been in a different position in life? Most people waste 10 years of their life watching TV. Why can't you take that same time and put it into a podcast, a YouTube page, anything you want to do, building a business, becoming a better father, becoming just being a better person, getting healthy. 10 years straight of watching your diet, working out, walking, running. You don't think that's going to help you in life? I never wanted to start a podcast, but I'm glad I did. It changed my life. I don't care if it's great for people to watch it. It's great for people to say they like my videos, but it's great as a man to have something for yourself, have something that you want to do at whatever age you are. So if you're at 40 years old, 50, 60, it don't matter. Myron Golden's 60 years old. And he's saying he set out and he said he was going to do this for 10 years straight, no matter what. So if he can do it, there's no excuse for you at 40 and above or 40 and under. But if you're 40 years old, there's no excuse for this 60-year-old man to be running laps around you just because you think that you're too old. You're not. And that thing that you know you can do, but you're talking yourself out of, is the thing that could change your life. Not just far as money, but just far as fulfillment. And that is this episode of the Raising Karter podcast. If you got any value from this video, check out our playlist of the rest of our videos with me, my son, and all the t-shirts. I got my Ice Cube Legend Line t-shirt right here, the hats. You can get all that on my store at my website. I will never quit. So, hey, that's do I need to say more about that title? About that? So, never want to start a podcast, but I did change my life. And I know it's something out there that you want to do, that you're talking yourself out of. Go for it. Never quit. Peace.